Welcome back, boys and girls, and of course a Merry Christmas. If you didn't hear any of our messages over the last couple of days, hope you had a really lovely day. But when I say welcome back, I do actually mean not to the channel, but you are very welcome, of course. I mean back to the Premier League, because it all starts today, and I'm really pleased about it. Very, very pleased indeed. Seems like a long time, longer than it's actually been. It's not just the World Cup, is it? If you think about it, it's been so fragmented. I think the start of the season, firstly, we've been crap, which I don't think has massively helped. I think there was such a long drag at the start of the transfer window. Then we brought in some players. Moyes didn't feel that he was going to get them into the team immediately. We lost some games, we're really, really crap, and we won some games, and we lost some more games. Whilst that was going on, it was sort of broken up by the Europa Conference League. Then you had a period of condolence, a period of mourning after the Queen died, which sort of, well, it stopped. Some Premier League fixtures stopped, didn't they, during that time as well. And then there was some more, well, back-to-back loss, three losses, I think, 3 Premier League losses in a row. Went out in the FA Cup, in the League Cup to Blackburn Rovers. It just sounds so depressing, doesn't it? And then, of course, so it's not like it seemed like a fluid season where you'd really got into it and started to enjoy it. Then you've had the World Cup, and here we are, Boxing Day, and time to get things back up and running. And what better way, after 3 Premier League defeats, to get back some form against a team who, let's be fair, we're pretty crap against. I've seen all the stats, and I've seen a lot of the stories. It's not just, to be fair, David Moyes' records against Arsenal that's been trotted out, is it? It's actually been West Ham's record against Arsenal, which ain't too clever. So we've had to... There's just been so much, I think, negativity, and I think so much, and don't get me wrong, you know, it's not like I've been really bouncing and sort of joyously looking forward to this, far from it, but now it's here. I look at it and I think there's a massive opportunity here for David Moyes to turn around the mood in a club like that. I mean, he really can do it quickly, and I think it's all about intent, and I speak about intent, you know, so much on here. And I think we're all desperate to see something different, but how would that sort of manifest itself? I actually think he could lose this game and still give us something to be buoyant about. I don't expect... When I say about us attacking Arsenal, I don't expect flowing football. I don't expect us to not defend. I mean, when we were at our very best under David Moyes, it's not like we've been completely swashbuckling all the time. We've had a fast counter-attack, and we've been pretty lethal on the counter-attack. That would do me. What I don't want is to sit back to such an extent that we haven't had a shot in the first half or something like that. That just sends the wrong message, and it's not really what we want to see at all. And I think he can do it, but so much of this game, we've got to wait all day for it, haven't we? 8 o'clock this evening. So much of this game rests on what is going to happen with the strikers this evening. We all hope that... I was going to say we all hope Scamacca's fit. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think Scamacca's not been all that. But I think we would all agree that one of them needs to be fit, right? We would desperately need... If you suggest that Scamacca's the first choice, Antonio's the second choice, and Cornet's the backup, I mean, we could do with somebody, really. Let's forget Cornet. It just ain't going to happen. To think that he would suddenly become available now, I wouldn't think that he would do. Antonio's been making a lot of noise, hasn't he? In terms of interviews and how he wants to be used more, and he's disappointed he hasn't played more, and that's great. I'm not disappointed with that at all. What I do hope is if it is him, if it's Scamacca that's injured but Antonio's ready, I do expect him and want him to grasp his chance, and maybe actually, the more I think about it, maybe he is the right person to play against Arsenal if what we're going to play is a counter-attack. I mean, they've got, pretty good... I was going to say they got pretty good central defenders. They got a pretty damn good team. Remember when myself and Gio did the build-up, the preview for it? And in this case, Gio always asks, whose players you admire? Wow, it's a lot. There's a lot of players to admire at Arsenal at the moment. And they're frightening. They're absolutely frightening with their pace as well. Looking at... Martinelli, I think, when I first saw him, I wasn't that impressed. Then I think when he played against us last season, honestly, he was unplayable. So direct, so skillful, so pacey, quite powerful as well. I thought we really struggled to contain him. So, they're going to give us plenty to worry about, but there can be no excuses in terms of fitness and lack of preparation. David Moyes has had a ton of time. And Mikel Arteta, oh my word, he said a few things about David Moyes, and I think he was meaning to be supportive. My word, they got me very worried. Before I tell you those comments, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app, which you can download by clicking the link below. An hour before kickoff, if you've got the OneFootball app, that is where the starting lineups will be. They often have it before the club. How do they do that? I don't know how they manage to publish it before the club do. But the OneFootball app is a free app. Download it to your mobile phone. And when you download it, tell it you support West Ham. It will give you every piece of West Ham news that's floating around on the internet or in newspapers, be it transfer news, starting lineups, injury news, all that other stuff. Puts them all in one place, delivers it to your phone so you don't have to go searching for it. Please use the link below and go and check it out. So, Mikel Arteta. Here's what he said about David Moyes. And he was really trying to be nice. He clearly is someone he respects, because David Moyes brought Arteta over. Was it from Real Sociedad? Something like that. Anyway, basically the reason Arteta is in this country is because David Moyes brought him over. So Arteta said every manager gives you some marks and some moments that build your belief in what you want to do. What he's talking about at that point is he's talking about learning from managers who he's played under. He said David had a lot of weight on that for sure. Obviously, some of this stuff gets lost in translation. He said he had a huge impact, so grateful for all of the trust he showed in me and how much I learned from him on the field, off the field, and about building a team. About getting the right characters in the team to build on what you want. That was the thing that he took most. You've heard it before, haven't you? Players will say, oh, what did you learn from managers before you got into management? Oh, I took something from him and something from him and something from him. What he learnt most from David Moyes was getting a team, building a team and characters and personalities. So, which is absolutely fine. He said he was always extremely supportive all the time with everything we did together. I had incredible memories with him because we had a very successful time. Then he goes on to say, here's the thing. He said he believed that I could have an impact on the team. It goes on to say this. This is about David Moyes trying to convert Arteta to a winger, for the context. He said he believed I could have an impact on the team. I had real doubts, but he made me believe that I can do it. I always used to play as a holding midfielder or as an attacking midfielder, but he made me play as a winger. I had to adapt to a different style with David. The first few years we played a very direct game. It was completely opposite to what I was told since I was a 15-year-old. I had to adapt or die, basically. It was very challenging, but I think it was for my own education, my own development as a player. I think it was very rich. Now, that's really good that he looks at it like that, but I looked at it and thought, well, not every player does adapt. And it's just another one. He's basically saying, since I was 15, I was told to play the ball on the deck, I played in central midfield, and then all of a sudden you got this guy saying, no, I want you to be more direct. Don't spend so much time on the ball. And by the way, I'm going to change your position as well. Now, that's going to be no surprise to anybody because what David Moyes does, right? But I did look at it and think, well, how does David Moyes know when he's buying players that they're going to be able to adapt? And also, it sort of gives the indication that conversation has happened after David Moyes had signed Arteta. I don't think it was anything negative in what Arteta was saying, or I don't think he was intending. Arteta wasn't intending on being negative in that. He was using it as something positive. Basically, David Moyes taught me to be adaptable. So, okay, it's absolutely great. But I think within that, there is not a negative message, but there's a concerning message, isn't it? Which is, as we often say, why does he just not buy round pegs for round holes? Why does he keep on buying these square pegs and trying to push them into round holes? I just don't know. Now, I think David Moyes and Arteta would probably say, well, no, it was a success. It worked. Arteta would probably argue and say, well, no, this worked perfectly for me because in the end, I got the transfer to Arsenal. I think it was quite telling that Arsene Wenger didn't start using him as a winger. But I don't remember Moyes using, whenever we used to come up against Arteta. Arteta was a good player. I always seem to remember him playing centrally. So it's not like I remember that. But I'm not going to discount it because, well, let's be fair. Mikel Arteta knows where he played for Everton more than I know. So, far be it from me to criticise it. But I just found it really, really interesting there that in the process of praising David Moyes, he's sort of revealed a trait, a character trait, not a character trait, but a managerial trait that we know is prevalent in David Moyes' armoury. You know, this is what he does quite a lot. Changes people's positions, changes the way they play. Really weird. And you look at it, and someone's going to be massively important today's Jarrod Bowen. And Jarrod Bowen's a perfect player for Moyes, isn't he? Because when he was at Hull, he was sort of direct and counter-attacking and all the rest of it. And if he bought him, Bowen fits perfectly what David Moyes wants to do. And I just don't know why he just doesn't do more of that, basically, rather than try and get these other players. Anyway, I don't want to go too much on the whole Paqueta thing. I'm not even entirely sure we'll see Paqueta later. By the time you watch this, we might even know. If you are watching this an hour before kick-off, you know, try and jump onto the build-up show. Myself and Gio will be doing that an hour and 5 minutes before kick-off, which will be at 6:55. The game is on Amazon, by the way. So if you've got Amazon Prime, be free to... It's not free to watch, is it? Because it costs you £8 a month or whatever Amazon Prime is. But it should be easy enough to find the game, certainly. So yeah, if you are around an hour and 5 minutes before kickoff, come and join myself and Gio. Charlie will be doing a watch along. I'm pretty sure about that as well. Hope Paqueta's available. If Paqueta is available, look, I want to see him playing central midfield. I don't think he is. What I don't want to do is be overly negative now before it, because I do think it's an opportunity for David Moyes to set his agenda from now until the rest of the season, which is go for it. Not go for it, you know, and not defend. I expect David Moyes to do some defending. But, you know, a little bit of ambition, a little bit of going for it won't do us any harm at all. Give Arsenal something to think about. If we don't attack Arsenal, they're just going to come and attack us anyway. And it won't. We can't shut them up all game. I'm pretty sure of that. Eventually, they'll break through. Anyway, I will catch up with you later today. Good to be back, though, right? Good to have some Premier League football to get our teeth into.